You're with Dion at HDpiano, and this is Chasing Cars by Snow Patrol. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there we have it. This is the first and the second verse in this really beautiful classic rock song. So we'll be covering just those sections in this tutorial. The rest, of course, is following this at HDpiano. Now, there's not a lot of notes to cover here. So the good news is the notes part of this is easy. The bad news, but also the good news is some of it's a little trickier than you might expect, but I've got some beautiful tips to help you play through not only this song, but other songs in a similar style. So stick with me. You're going to learn a few things, even if you're an experienced piano player. But if you're a beginner, perfect song for you to start with. So we're going to start here with your left hand playing A. This A is one octave below middle C. Middle C is here, so we are an octave and just a couple more notes down below that. Your right hand is going to find A that is just below middle C. And also E, just above middle C. So you've got your thumb on A and your fifth finger or your pinky on E. So that's our first shape that we'll be playing across with both hands. And all we're going to do is hold down the left hand note while we go back and forth between our two right hand notes. And we're going to be doing a very similar pattern throughout the entire verse 1 and verse 2. So that's our first shape and our first pattern. Our second shape, second pattern, these two A's, the A in the left hand and the A in the right hand, both become a G sharp. And we follow the same pattern. Left hand holds down that note, right hand alternates between the two notes, the G sharp and the E. Our third shape is D in the left hand, so we've gone down to D. Right hand now plays F sharp and D. A little different this time though. Rather than alternating between those two notes, we're going to alternate between D and E. So that F sharp is there as an underlying harmony underneath that back and forth, which means you may need to use your pedal to help you out. And we'll have a look at that in a second. So that's our third shape. You can see the screen change color when I do use my pedal. And then we go back to our first shape of the A and the E. All right, so we're going to go through those four patterns again. We're going to go through them in order without stopping, but we're going to go really slowly. So here we go, starting from our first pattern. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and. Down to the G sharp. Down to the D. And back to the A. How'd you go? If you're still needing to slow it down even further, then please use the speed controls to do that. You might also like to loop that section as well if you're on our HDpiano video player. So, that's all the notes through verse 1 and verse 2. It repeats again, but that's it. So, what's all this difficult thing you were talking about? Why would those be tricky? Well, a couple of things. Firstly, is that for some reason, some people have it in their brain that you're not allowed to put your thumb on black keys, which is nonsense. But I see it often with beginner piano players, which is they think, well, I can't use my thumb on the black key, so therefore I'm going to use my second finger. And all of a sudden we get this really broad stretching through the hand, which isn't great for longevity and easy technique. So I'm going to encourage you, even if it feels a bit strange, to put your thumb on the G sharp in your right hand. However, rather than twisting your hand around, which means you end up with your hand on a curve compared to your arm, I would like you to move everything forward. So slide the whole thing forward, which means you'll be playing the E with your fifth finger about halfway or 2/3 up the piano key. We don't need to play them all the way down here all the time. So in this case here, I've got my thumb on G sharp and my little finger playing E about 2/3 the way up the key. Keeps a nice neutral hand shape, keeps my hand in line with my arm. Then for our third shape, for the D shape, if I wasn't using a pedal, I would want to hear this F sharp the whole time. That would force me to do this. So I'd be holding that F sharp down while I do those two top notes back and forth. Which is possible, it's entirely possible, so if you don't have a sustain pedal, you can give that a try. However, I think there's an easier way to do it. That is by using the pedal. If I put the pedal down at the start of the bar, then those notes, all of those, you can hear them continue to ring out even if I'm not playing them anymore. So that F sharp continues to ring out while I've got the pedal down. Once I release the pedal, it's gone. So I use that to my advantage. Once I've played that F sharp once, I can just let it ring out via the pedal. And because I'm no longer playing that F sharp, it allows me to play the D and the E further down the piano. I can slide back down towards the bottom of the keys, where it is actually a little bit easier to play. So rather than doing the whole stretch of that sequence up on these high parts of the keys, which is a little bit harder, you'll notice me slide down as I'm playing to get to the lower part of the keys, while my pedal does the work of holding down that F sharp note. So keep all those things in mind as you play along with me one last time at full speed. Watch for the sliding of my hands, the thumbs on the black keys, all of that. I'm going to go through the pattern twice because the verse pattern goes through twice for each verse. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there we go. Great job so far on learning through part 1. If you're on HDpiano, just click on the next lesson to continue. And if you're on YouTube, head over to HDpiano.com for the rest of the song. Do you have a request? Well, visit requests.hdpiano.com and follow us on your favorite socials at HDpiano. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and give us feedback in the comments. My name is Dion, and you're at HDpiano, the home of the hybrid piano lesson.